This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
What's going on, Jason Glick?
Hey, I'm back from Comic-Con. I'm going through some interesting life stuff right now. It's like, hey, it makes it the perfect time to talk about one of Dark Horse's newest, well, not really newest releases, but Elfen Lied, because that's my mulligan pick. Because if anyone remembers that I was going to talk about Bendis's stuff at DC last time, well, guess what? Turns out the good guys at Cheap Graphic Novels weren't able to get it in stock, so now it's only shipping right now. So we're talking about Elfen Lied right now, and that's good because otherwise I would have to write a lot about this series because this is kind of a interesting series. In fact, John, it's like you've also got some history with the series, don't you?
Yeah, I watched the anime back when it aired. Well, right after it aired, I should say. So yeah, I downloaded the fan subs when they were being, as they were being released. So that's been some time now, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, do you remember what was special about the fan subs?
I don't remember. Not entirely sure what you're referring to.
Okay, because this actually involves our good buddy Lovin, because he recommended this to me at least. It's like when it came out because it involves something special. It actually came with an advisory warning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, not from the actual Japanese producers or the television network that it was broadcast on. It came with an advisory warning from the fan subbers.
I don't remember this. It's been a while. I do still have the fan subs around, even though later on I did purchase the DVDs. So I'm not, and yeah, they're sitting in a box somewhere because I haven't unpacked them, along with a lot of other DVDs, so it's not particular. But what was the warning? It's too violent.
Yeah, it was surprisingly violent. I mean, that was actually what got Levin's attention. The fact that this came with an advisory from the fan subbers who, as anyone who's engaged in fan subbing knows, they're not really too particular when it comes to violence or extreme subject matter because hey, anime.
Yeah, good exactly. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when this came with an advisory warning, Levin was kind of like, huh, cool, I'm going to get that. And naturally, he decided to show it to us. And wow, holy shit. It's like, that first episode was definitely an attention getter. Because, because the appeal of Elfen Lied, the anime, at the beginning, is it's a combination of cute moe characters with Akira level ultra violence. Because it starts off with it takes place in this underground underground research facility where the Japanese government is researching these creatures clandestinely, and there's also this klutzy secretary who just wants to do right by her superior. It's and even though it's she trips over her own feet on every scene she's in. But the thing is, there's this one character who they're guarding with locks under key, and wouldn't you know it, she gets out because she's got the kind of psychic powers that will just murder everyone in her path. Her name is Lucy, and even though it's she spends most of the first episode half naked with a iron mask over her face, she spends the first half just murdering the fuck out of everyone in this place. And you're just holy shit. I mean, this is supposed to be a kind of a cute series, right, John?
I believe the term is moe, but yes. You're right. Yeah, so if I'm looking at the original Japanese cover correctly, you'd never guess the first volume. You'd never guess that'd be a violent thing. It's pink with a picture of her being very cute, huge eyes.
Yes.
All that. Yes, all of that.
Yeah.
Featuring, and that's Lucy, by the way, everyone.
Yes. Yeah, she's just first episode murdering the fuck out of everyone, including the Klutz secretary. She just rips her goddamn head off.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's like, and it's like, holy shit, this doesn't happen. This does not happen in, it's like, even in like your moe type anime. And it's like, and then she makes her way out, she escapes, but then she's shot, like, she's shot in her head in a way that allows her to, like, lose the mask and then fall into the ocean, and then meet up with the other protagonists of our series, Kota, who is a recent high school graduate, and his childhood friend Yuka. As they're just like getting to know each other. It's like as they spend the summer right before they head into college, and then wouldn't you know it, it's like Lucy washes up on the shore near the sleepy Japanese village where they decided to spend the summer, like out of nostalgia, and well. It's like, when they encounter Lucy there, well, what do you think happens, John?
Violence.
Yeah, or, pants wetting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it turns out that Lucy has two different personalities. She's got there's Lucy, who is the violent side of the character, who resents everything that's been done to her by humans up to this point. And then there's Mew, who is, a childlike, Knife, who just doesn't know anything about anything, like even about, it's like potty training, because one of the, it's like, because when Kota and Yuka invite her back to their summer home, Maple House, Lucy is just, Mew is just kind of like Mew, because she just can't remember how to use the bathroom properly. And that's kind of, that first episode kind of says the dichotomy of the series. On one hand, it's like crazy, like ultra violent, like Akira level stuff against moe type characters. And on the other hand, it's just kind of like, wacky, summer style hijinks. It's a bizarre mix, right, John?
It's a tale of contrast in a lot of ways.
Indeed, that's it's like, and that's kind of like the defining memory I've got for the for the anime. I watched this first episode, even though the first half I'll say is much stronger than the second. Yeah, it was something like I kind of wanted to watch and go, okay, this is crazy shit. Where's it gonna go? I did that with some friends for 13 episodes, and the end result was something that I felt, was probably evolved into something that was probably stronger than its crazy opening would have had, to the point where if it had dropped all the moe slice of life type stuff and just focused on the story about characters who have to learn to overcome the cycle of hate they've forced themselves into, then the series would have been arguably much stronger. Maybe a bit less memorable going by the opening, but that's how I feel about the anime. The anime is like I said, it's a special thing in my memory. Just if not for the for that advisory warning, but just for how it's honestly kind of unique in terms of its combination of moe cuteness and Akira level ultra violence.
Yeah, I'd say that there was, and I think we talked about this when you told me about the series, but Higurashi, or When They Cry, which the game premiered around the same time as the series. The television, the anime on TV didn't happen until 2006, and if you carry forward the same theme of here's moe characters getting violent and stuff, they took it to an extreme as well. But of course, they weren't the first ones to do it. So one could say, hey, yeah, that's pretty nutso. So,
Yeah,
and I mean, like, just no spoiler, but I mean, seriously, when you start it, it starts out with one of the characters. It's like it's a flash forward of them brutally murdering another one of the characters, like in just cold
you're talking
blood.
about Higurashi, right?
Yes, Higurashi, exactly. But I'm saying, like, this was like 2 years later, after this premiered. So.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like, I mean, how would you compare the two? Because I know that, like I said, Elfen Lied kind of like had this uneasy relationship with this moe elements, but Higurashi, I mean, it's like it seemed to like I never saw much of it, but it seemed like the point of it was using those moe elements as craziness or horror.
There was, and one of the that's true. And one of the main criticisms of anime, I should say, is that it's incapable of producing horror, because of kind of the contextual. It's not like it's something you see. It's something that you see on, that's animated. It has the potential to remove someone, from what would potentially be a scary or tense situation. However, I think both of these shows do it fairly well. And there's this one part, and I mean, and sometimes I almost think of it as like, wow, what are these sadomasochists? I mean, that have written this, because, I just the other day, just for kicks on Higurashi, I know we're talking about Elfen Lied, but and I will do the same to that. But I just like, oh, let me just I just threw it in the middle of one of the story arcs, and I didn't even pick. I just like, okay, right in the middle here, and the scene. I couldn't stop watching it because I was just mesmerized by the things that were going on. Where there's like I said, not to derail the anime conversation, but in that series there's several story. Let's say time resets, for lack of a better word.
It's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, kind of like that, kind of like Groundhog Day. And there's a set of twin sisters, and one of them, is the heiress of essentially of Yakuza. So that, and her twin sister, the one that's kind of not the heiress, she's trying to protect this one boy, and protect him from being tortured anymore. So they wind up, her sister says, "Okay, if you want me to protect her, rip 3 of your fingernails off." And there's a there's a torture machine, and by the way, this was not, "We're going to rip 3 of your fingernails off." No, you do it. Here's the machine. Prove your loyalty. And it's just like, the tension there is like, is she going to do it? Is her sister actually going to make her do this? And she winds up doing it twice, even begging her sister for mercy. But it's just crazy. And then there's an ironic twist to it, but I'm not going to tell you that. So, but yeah, you just kind of go, and there's some insane tension there, So, does her sister get that pound of flesh, as it were, to quote the merchant from Venice, But yeah, and in this series, the violence is fairly gratuitous in its scenes. It's I believe
limbs get ripped the fuck off. Really.
Yeah, when you're talking about that secretary, like in the anime, like in the very beginning, the secretary gets decapitated and she uses her body as a shield.
Yeah, I mean, it's like she trips in front. I mean, like it's tense standoff between like one of the residents' heads, and like his guards, and Lucy, and then like this girl the secretary just trips in front of both of them, and it's kind of like, oh god, this is dumb. Like, I've seen this before. What's gonna happen? Oh my god!
Yeah, no mercy.
Yeah,
no mercy.
Yeah.
Anyway, which can be very tense. I'll tell you that.
Yes, definitely memorable. It's like it's like, and that's the anime. I mean, and I think that the anime, it's probably easier to take seriously compared to the manga, because reading the manga, and this is issue from Dark Horse in the nice 3-in-1 omnibus, because nothing says confidence in this is going to sell for us like a 3-in-1 omnibus, and I'm being facetious here, because the Kurosaki Corp's delivery service is going to be reissued in 3-in-1 omnibuy, which we all know sold fuck all. But I'm digressing here.
Mm-hmm.
But Elfen Lied the manga. Well, reading this first volume, it's a different experience from the manga. I mean, not necessarily because like it's covering different stuff. I mean, a lot of the same stuff is here. I mean, Secretary still gets her head ripped off. Lucy still has that limbs ripping off like showcase with the other Declonius, Nana. But the mangaka Lin Okamoto, I mean, when you start reading this, I mean, the art, it's just kind of rough, really. I mean, it's just kind of like you kind of get the feeling that this is something that's kind of happened like early on in her career, and like she's it's like still feeling out like an individual style. I mean, like that nice picture of Lucy you see on the cover right here. Well, you open to the first couple pages and you're kind of like, oh, well, we're not going to get that right now, are we? But reading these first 3 volumes really kind of feels like it's a series that's really kind of a mess. I mean, it's got the it's got the whole like Lucy escapes from the scientific facility that she's been confined at. She meets up with with Kota and Yuka. They're still being chased by the crazy like a military guy is like Bondo, who just wants to shoot fucking something, and also like Nana, who's got that father complex that's been imprinted on her with one of the facility heads. And there's just like so much like crazy stuff here. I mean, the manga is, it's that childhood friends reconnect. It's like at a nice seaside resort. Oh, it's like you got this crazy powerful character who's escaping from a government-run facility. Oh, you've got this crazy person who's wants to shoot everything in terms of working for the government guys. Oh, and then there's this homeless girl who makes friends with the dog, and she's running away from being sexually abused by her dad. Oh, and then there's this college professor who's also the college guy who's teaching at Kota and Yuka's college, and he might have some connection with this conspiracy as well. There's just so much craziness going on with the manga that it's like that. I mean, like that you get the feeling that Okamoto just felt like I've got all this stuff here, and I'm just going to throw it all in. I mean, I'm going to have to invoke the hallowed memory of Future Diary, in the sense that it's got that kind of feeling of it's like, hey, it's a car that's driving on the highway, and it flies off the end and explodes, and but it explodes and there's ninjas flying out of it. And the ninjas catch on fire because of the explosion, and ninjas like clothes burn off and reveal themselves to be Terminator robots. And that's really the kind of feeling that I get with the manga of Elfen Lied, because it's just Okamoto is just throwing just so much in this series, and no, she doesn't do it well, so I can't really say it's a good first omnibus, but I can't say it's not an entertaining one, at least, because it it just you just keep reading it just to see how the different how the different plot threads are going to intertwine, such as when Bondo, the crazy military guy, meets up with the teacher at Yuka and Kota's college, and he basically tells him, hey, it's like, so you can either get castrated or you can just go out and and start spreading your genes, because you've been attacked by Declonius, and now you've got you've probably been infected by their Diclonius virus, and so hey, I just kind of want to see what it's going to be like when you like spread this master race throughout the world. I mean, no, that's not like logical or realistic or even credible plotting by any stretch of the imagination, really. But it's a thing that happens here. Oh, and the like that teacher who's like at Kotonyuka's like college, it's like don't get too attached to him, really. It's like even though it's like he's got his own like crazy connection to the main plot as well. It's like, I mean, reading this first volume is just, it's like I said, it's something you kind of appreciate just because it's done, like because of all like the crazy stuff that's thrown in here. I mean, and you're not going to see this done anywhere else. I mean, to this date, I mean, okay, I apologize, John. I've never actually gotten into Higurashi, but this mixture of moe and ultraviolence is still kind of unique, and also there's like the crazy plot threads that Okamoto keeps throwing in are still compelling, even though I have to admit there are some really awkward moments when her streams cross, and you're kind of like, oh god, I didn't want to read that. Such to the point where like Lucy falls into the bath naked with Kota, and it's like, oh, I've seen this before. This is hilarious. And then Nana, the homeless girl who's been abused by her dad, walks in and sees them together, and you're kind of like, oh, this is going to be hilarious. And then like Nana flashes back. Mayu flashes back to like when she was abused by her dad, and she thinks like, oh, all men are scum, and then shuts the door right away. And you're like, was I supposed to find that funny? Because it wasn't. It was really kind of fucked up. And that's kind of what you're going to be in for when you're reading Elfen Lied, the manga. I mean, there's lots of craziness that you've never seen before. There's some like kind of dumb stuff that comes with like from its like quasi one-dimensional characters, and then there's like the awkwardness that comes when like when you're throwing in all these different like themes and plot lines, and you're gonna get some stuff like, hey, it's like kind of interesting, and like, oh god, I wish I had not seen that before. So that's kind of the appeal of Elfen Lied, for me at least. But I don't know. It's like, but there's other stuff in this first volume. But before I dive into that real quick, John, did you have anything you wanted to add about all this, or just you're wondering just how did why did this manga come into existence in the first place?
Oh no, I don't have anything to add. I'm curious to hear the rest of what you're going to say on it. So,
okay, because because the thing is, Elfen Lied, the American release is a 3-in-1 omnibuy. Each of the 3 volumes it collected also included a chapter of a different manga from Lin Okamoto. And basically, it kind of feels like these are kind of like the series that she was trying to get started as a series, but just didn't go for, it didn't pan out for whatever reason. Let's see. It's like we've got, like the first one is Mall, which is about it's like a high school kid who's really sullen and not really like friendly to the opposite sex until he meets, because he's had this he was raised by like 8 other sisters who just like made his life a living hell. But it turns out that he's got an affinity for dolls, and one of them actually happens to be alive. It's like, and so he winds up connecting with her. It's like to the point where like it actually winds up being it's like a genuine romantic relationship, which is just kind of weird when you think about, oh well, this uninterested guys like fall in love with a doll who's alive and all. And then you've got like the next one, which is Digitopolis, which is a more straightforward story about it's like about bomb defusing, and it starts off with like this like guy who's part of the Bond defusal unit, and he's not, and he's about to get blown up. But then this one girl who's just like really, like like not nonchalant about everything, and she manages to like defuse the bomb like no sweat, and it's like, and it's all about like it's like they're contrasting personalities, his cautiousness, her like nonchalance, and how he finds out about the fact that like her parents were killed by a mad bomber, and that's what turned her into like wanting to become a like a bomb defusal expert. And the final threat, which involves her going into like a it's like a nuclear reactor in Japan. It's like in order to like take out this bomb that was meant to destroy the reactor. It's weird because it's like, oh wow, it's like it's. I mean, the story is kind of straightforward, but then like things get really bloody and dark towards the end. But it's like, but it kind of works out in an interesting way. And then there's the final story, Memoria, which involves a like a guy who has like, hey, his full size doll has arrived, and there's it's like he's probably just going to like put it up in his room and just admire it, I'm sure. But then it turns out she comes alive, and it turns out that she's actually possessed by the spirit of a girl who just wants to make him happy before he dies, before she goes away. And before you think, oh, make him happy, well, I can see where this is going. But no, it turns out not to be that way, even though it's a guy who ordered like, I don't know, a life-size doll and everything. These three stories, I mean, they're also kind of interesting because like they go in ways that you don't necessarily expect. I mean, yes, they're kind of creepy and weird in their own ways, but I don't know. It's like it's interesting insight into Okamoto's creative process. It's like in the sense that I have to admire her, like her dedication to to do stuff that's that's against the grain, if nothing else. Is it done well? Well, to be honest, I probably I kind of appreciate her work in the same kind of way that I appreciated Sakae Yasuno's work on Future Diary. It's like, no, it may not be exactly be good, but I definitely appreciate the fact that she's willing to hey, do something different. And just go. It's like, and just not give us like the same stuff that we've seen before. And I really appreciate that. And I also kind of appreciate Dark Horse for putting out this series in the first place. Even though it's like, part of me just wonders, why the hell are we getting the Elfen Lied manga? Almost 10. What, I have to check. Maybe in 15 years after the anime debuted. Wow, that's kind of crazy. I mean, John, does it kind of strike you as crazy that we're getting the manga now?
Oh yeah, because on two fronts, unless they're bringing out some other new thing, I don't understand it, because it's gonna be increasingly difficult to market such a thing. Of course, Dark Horse is. I mean, they've been known for re-releasing some of the older stuff, which I don't have any problem with. I think more manga publishing houses should pay attention to some older titles as well. But I mean, it was understandable when we saw like something like, let's pick something else, Cardcaptor Sakura, which came out with they came out with new manga though.
Well, and no, it's like the Dark Horse published after Tokyopop up and died. Dark Horse seized the license for most of Clamp's manga, so that's how they got that.
Yeah. So they released the I think those were Omnibus too, the big volumes, right?
Yeah. Though I think that Kodansha has taken at least the Cardcaptor Sakura license back, and now they're doing like big hardcover reprints of that series.
But you're right. The gap of time is, and especially for a series that may not be as. I mean, I think the anime itself was like 24 episodes.
13.
13. Oh, 13, even smaller yet. See,
probably for the best, really.
Yeah.
But hey, John, I think I've got a theory about why we're getting the manga. In fact, like Dark Horse kind of like might have actually said this in the solicitations for this manga itself. Yeah, because do you know what other because Dark Horse was lots of licensed comics, but you know what one of their recent acquisitions within the past year was?
I can't guess.
Stranger Things.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and it's like I gotta admit, it's like I've heard lots of good things about Stranger Things, but I just haven't watched it because I'm not like I gotta watch TV, a good TV show whenever I hear about it. No, it's like I'm the guy who goes, I gotta read a good comic book series when I hear about it. Fuck watching a TV show. So, but like Stranger Things is kind of like a series about like a character with with really crazy psychic powers that falls into like a normal everyday setting, and it's got this kind of craziness that follows her wherever she goes. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm right about this, aren't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so it's like it's like so Dark Horse is publishing like Stranger Things comics, and then like when I was seeing the solicitations for Elfen Lied, in the previous reprints that pop up on Bleeding Cool and Comic Book Resources, whoever writes the solicitations for Elfen Lied also mentioned that the Duffer Brothers, the creators of Stranger Things, had cited Elfen Lied as a major influence on them.
Oh, interesting. Well, that okay, that works for me.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know if the Duffer Brothers actually told Dark Horse that they had to license Elfen Lied as a condition to getting the license to make Stranger Things comics, but it would not surprise me if that turned out to be the case. So, because hey, if you're making one of the most popular series out there, I would like to think that you could at least demand any terms you want for the people who are going to publish your comics. So there you go. That's how I think we got these Elfen Lied comics, and they may not be genuinely good so far, at least as far as this first omnibus goes. But I'm glad we got it, because it may not be good, but damned if it's not entertaining and captivating in its own kind of messed up way.
All right. So, do you know what you're going to be talking about next time?
Oh, thank God! It's like, because it's like I got confirmation from Cheap Graphic Novels that my order is on its way. So yes, next time I can assure you I will be talking about what Bendis has gotten up to at DC since he jumped ship from Marvel. So that's what you got to look forward to next time, for better or for worse.
All right, we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right, laters.